Often overshadowed by their counterparts in the Navy SEALs or Green Berets, the elite tactical unit of today's video is essentially the Delta Force of the sea. The Maritime Security Response Team is the Coast Guard's elite tactical unit. These operators specialize in counter-terrorism, high-risk boarding operations, and maritime law enforcement. They're the tip of the spear when it comes to protecting America's shores and waterways from any threats that might choose that route of attack. Let's take a look at what makes up the MSRT, what unique skills they possess, and some notable missions that make them one of the most underrated units in the military. The MSRT is made up of several teams. The Direct Action Section is the assault element of the unit. They are tasked with executing high-risk boarding operations, counter-terrorism missions, and hostage rescues. The operatives are highly trained in boarding techniques, including from small boats or from helicopters, where their fast rope skills allow them to drop onto the vessel from above. Once on board, breaching tactics come into play, where they may use explosive or mechanical tools to gain access to their target vessel. Due to the cramped nature of the vessels they often breach, the DAS operatives have to be skilled fighters. Once inside, elite close-quarters combat training coupled with shoot-no-shoot scenarios become essential skills. They prepare this team for the reactive, high-intensity decision-making necessary for the environment they undertake their missions in. The DAS operators wear similar gear to police SWAT teams, and they're armed with CQBR carbines, 12-gauge shotguns, and 9mm pistols, acting as the front line for the unit. Next up are the Tactical Delivery Team, the skillful drivers of the unit. They operate vehicles ranging from rigid-hull inflatable boats to helicopters in order to transport DAS to their objectives. These operators are highly skilled in vessel handling techniques, which sometimes involves covert movement to stealthily approach a target vessel. This is essential to maximize the impact of the team. Catching the enemy by surprise can often be the difference between success or failure, especially when dealing with vessels such as submarines, which we'll see shortly. The MSRT also includes many support teams, such as precision marksman observer teams, and a chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and high-yield explosive team. These teams get called in to deal with particularly intense situations that might need sniper overwatches or specialist handling of dangerous chemicals. Their ability to respond rapidly to a wide range of threats from terrorism to drug smuggling makes the MSRT a formidable force with lots of historical success. Such successes includes one of the largest drug busts in Coast Guard history. A semi-submersible vessel suspected of carrying a significant load of illegal narcotics was traversing the eastern Pacific Ocean, a known drug smuggling route. Upon confirming the vessel's location and intent, the MSRP was deployed. The unit was positioned on Coast Guard cutter Monroe, equipped with helicopters and small boats, prepared for rapid response. The MSR team used RHIBs to approach the vessel, jumping on top of it despite it being a semi-submersible. The breach involved precise coordination and tactical expertise. Inside the semi-submersible, the MSRT discovered over 17,000 pounds of cocaine, with an estimated street value of $232 million. The crew of the semi-submersible was apprehended and turned over to law enforcement authorities for prosecution. These individuals faced serious charges, including drug trafficking and conspiracy. The following year in 2020, the MSRT seized a high quantity of drugs that totaled an estimated street value of over $5.6 billion. But as we've seen, it's not only drug interdictions that the MSRT are involved in. Another intense situation involved combating pirates in the famous Gulf of Aden. The MSRT was called upon to respond to the hijacking of a commercial tanker carrying valuable cargo and crew. It was overtaken by armed Somali pirates who swiftly seized control of the vessel, taking the crew hostage and steering the tanker towards the Somali coast. The tanker's distress signal was picked up by international maritime authorities, who immediately relayed the information to the U.S. Coast Guard and other naval forces operating in the region. Intelligence agencies quickly gathered information on the pirates, their tactics, and the current status of the tanker and hostages. Then an operation was coordinated with other naval forces in the region, including those from NATO and the European Union Naval Force. The MSRT, already stationed in the region for such contingencies, was rapidly deployed via a Coast Guard cutter. Utilizing helicopters, MSRT operators were inserted onto the deck of the moving tanker. Fast roping techniques allowed them to quickly and efficiently board the vessel under cover of darkness, exploiting the element of surprise. Upon boarding, the MSRT operators engaged the pirates in close-quarters combat. Their training in precision marksmanship and tactical maneuvers was critical in neutralizing the armed threats without causing harm to the hostages. The team methodically cleared the tanker room by room, including the bridge and engine room, to regain control of the vessel's operations. Once the tanker was secured, medical personnel within the team provided immediate care to any injured crew members. The pirates were handed over to local authorities, and the message was sent out that the MSRT were not to be underestimated. It's not only the action-packed missions above that make this unit so underrated. They protect the American harbors during important political conferences, such as the New York Harbor during the UN General Assembly, and they're constantly monitoring smaller operations that don't always become publicized. But when needed, these high-level operatives perform some incredibly daring missions that often fall under the radar. Comment down below on who you think is the most underrated unit of the military. Thanks for watching. Sergeant Rooster, over and out.